Blockchain Wayne put like $36,000 into some kind of stock market investment, got destroyed.
Yeah.
Went down to $3,000. He called up his buddy and said, this money's already lost in my mind, so I'll take on the riskiest thing you can think of. And the guy said Bitcoin. Not because it was risky, but because he knew it was the best place for your money. So he drove into New Orleans, he smashed the 3K into an ATM, and that was like his initial Bitcoin buy. Welcome to Sat Chats Rehash, the Bitcoin podcast where we chatting about sats. We're going to be going over number 41, Blockchain Wayne, number 42, Ingo, and number 43, Robin. We're going to help you figure out if you want to go back and listen to these episodes of Sat Chats. We're going to talk about our feelings, and then we are going to clean up our side of the street. Any inaccuracies, any mistakes, we'll get those nice and neat and tidied up. Because ain't nobody want to move forward with Sat Chats, putting blocks on top of the Jenga tower when some of that stuff's wobbly down there at the bottom.
Yeah,
you know?
we got to get it cleaned up.
Every episode we add to the Sat Chats blockchain should be strengthening and securing, right? So we can't have any holes.
Right.
So number 41, Blockchain Wayne. Do you remember that episode?
Oh my God. How could I forget? Blockchain Wayne, first of all, probably the best name in the game.
Yeah.
That I've heard.
I love it.
There's lots of pseudonyms in the Bitcoin game. I'm not sure if Wayne is his real name or not. Doesn't matter. Blockchain Wayne is
I love that.
Gangster.
It is so good.
And he was pretty gangster too. I mean, he was like he had that like humble swagger that I admire in other people and aspire to have myself.
He was just like a real chill Louisiana type guy.
Yeah.
Where you might expect someone from the deep South to, be not hip to the vibes. They might be a little bit backward. They might be a little bit, you know what I mean?
What do you mean? Like
backcountry Louisiana, like, I don't know about you. What's going on with your crypto?
Yeah.
But he was just, he helps prove that anybody can be up on this stuff. And I think our show helps prove that, by the way.
Yeah.
You can be 78 years old. You can be 12 years old. You can be from the most metropolitan space or the back country. You can still get Bitcoin.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the great equalizer, like I always say.
Yeah. And Bitcoin's for everyone.
It's for everybody.
And to be fair, I think Blockchain Wayne's from like outside New Orleans. I don't think he's from like the Bayou. So I don't want to be characterizing him incorrectly here.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, so what brought him to Bitcoin? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what I remember, like I could visualize him putting $20 bills into the Bitcoin ATM. And
his thumbnail was, what was his thumbnail? Because that was it. It was, let me see here. ATM Bitcoin Smash.
Yeah.
Was his thumbnail. Because he did smash like $3,000 into that ATM in New Orleans to get Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he had to call the ATM operator and say, I've smashed all the Bitcoin out of your ATM, put more Bitcoin into the ATM so I can keep smashing.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah. What led him up to that? Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
So what was it?
Because I was explaining this to number 6, Michael, right? I think Michael's number 6. So I was explaining this to number 6, Michael, just the other day, because he's my neighbor. Blockchain Wayne put like $36,000 into some kind of stock market investment.
Now I remember.
Got destroyed.
Yeah.
Went down to $3,000. So he was hanging out at 1/12 of his original investment. And he called up his buddy and said, this money's already lost in my mind. It's already gone. What can I put it into that's going to help me recover? Or like, what kind of lottery ticket almost can I put it into? Because it's gone to me. So I'll take on the riskiest thing you can think of. What is it? And the guy said Bitcoin. Not because it was risky, but because he knew it was the best place for your money. So his buddy was like, dude, no. It's not about taking just put it into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So he drove into New Orleans. He smashed the 3K into an ATM.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like his initial Bitcoin buy. But then the episode title for Blockchain Wayne is, does $50 of Bitcoin a week really work?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because his other message was, well, after that whole ATM New Orleans smash, I just started doing $50 a week since 2017. And that's all we've been advocating on this show, $50 a week or $50 a month. Number 12, Jack's girlfriend does $20 a week on Coinbase.
Does she?
Yeah.
Was she doing that before he came on the show?
Nope.
Oh, that's amazing.
Number 12, he went back. He was like, okay, babe, set it up. Coinbase, because he was already on Coinbase. Coinbase, she does a recurring $20 weekly buy.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And we've got some exciting news to share about Jack that we're not going to fully reveal right now, but I've got a funny feeling you're going to be seeing more of Jack in the Sat Chats world.
Oh, he called me up the other day. All
right. Moral of the story with Blockchain Wayne, for me, is we talk to so many Bitcoiners who own Bitcoin, and we get their story, and we always try to ask what prompted you or motivated you to take the first step or make the first buy. I'm going to say like 90% of the time, it's some sort of financial disaster in their life with another investment that they're making. So in Blockchain Wayne's case, it was with an equity or a stock that he had bought, some kind of risky investment that he made that didn't turn out so well. We've talked to others who, it's been the financial crisis. It's been their house value cut in half.
Crypto casino wrecks them. NFTs wreck them.
And it's like just they were in so much financial pain that they were forced to do the work to find the best place to store their value. And all roads in that position lead to Bitcoin. And one of the things we hope to accomplish here at Sat Chats is to help you avoid, needing to go through that pain and just get there. Just skip that. Just skip that step. Start buying Bitcoin. Not a lot. Just start buying a little bit.
Yeah.
Go through a cycle, 6 months, a year, 2 years. See what it does for you, and then you can make your, then you can take another step beyond that.
If you can stand it budgetarily, go to your exchange and set up an automated buy. Okay.
Yeah.
I Bitcoin I've set it up to where every Monday, which is today, I didn't do anything. I showered up. I looked at our subscribers going way up. Whoa. Okay. You're running out of time to get your million sats, by the way. You need to subscribe before you hit 1,000. Showered up, got in here. But there's $54 worth of Bitcoin that's coming my way today because it's already automated in Bitcoin Well. So if you can stand it budgetarily, set you up that weekly buy. If you can't, like number 12 Jack, then when you come into an extra, couple extra pressure washing jobs a week, he smashes 20 here, 50 there, just whenever he can, right?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin for Blockchain Wayne was just a nice, clean weekly purchase.
Yeah.
And by the way, the $3,000 he smashed into Bitcoin 2017 has gone up to 36,000 and beyond into six figures. He wasn't specific, but just if you do the mathematics of $3,000 worth of Bitcoin in early 2017 versus how many sats that is today multiplied by the current exchange rate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's been made whole and beyond.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Who's next? Ingo?
All right. So up next is number 42, Ingo. Let's just stop there before I give you any visual prompting, anything. Is there anything you remember or feel about his episode?
Was Ingo in Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And he was kind of a digital nomad.
Yep.
And I forget exactly why he what got him into that lifestyle and what he was doing in Mexico. But he was definitely originally from Europe. And seem to have a lot of things really figured out. So
good. See, you remember more than you think you remember.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this is good practice for me. I'm working on strengthening my memory.
Mm-hmm,
And so it's really great for me to just sit here and force myself to remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just kind of work that muscle a little bit.
And my mom and dad, number 18, Monty, and number, is it 28? Car? 28? All right. See, I'm doing good. You know, they're in their early 70s. When one of them is trying to remember something, the other one will wait patiently for them to recall it because they've both decided that they need to practice their recall.
Yeah.
So the other one won't remember it for them.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, okay, hey, you do it's in there.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
We'll do the same thing.
That's good.
So Ingo's thumbnail, Bitcoin means freedom.
Mm-hmm.
His episode title, Does Bitcoin Help You Take Control of Your Life? For me, number 42, Ingo was a sovereign individual.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a few times on the show. That's a couple of levels deep for a brand new Bitcoiner, a brand new Satillionaire here for the show. We want you to get started stacking some sats to protect yourself from the ravages of inflation, from nation states that can't live on a budget, from your hard work getting devalued every single freaking day.
Yeah.
But the grand vision is for us as individuals to have control over our finances and over our choices. We're still happy to choose to live within a particular nation state that offers us advantages and perks and conveniences, like secure borders and clear systems for people inside those borders who do wrong. But we want to be able to go where we want and control our own finances. So Ingo was a German. He was working in Israel, maybe in the tech space. I don't know. He spoke to one of his Israeli buddies there and said, hey, man, what should I be investing my money in? And he was like, oh, Bitcoin. So he started investing in Bitcoin and maybe to an extent crypto. I can't remember. But I think he ended up packing that up fairly quickly and just going all Bitcoin.
Yep.
And then he and his wife took their kids to Mexico, and that digital nomad life settled down into buying a home in Mexico. I think owning it outright.
Yeah.
Sending the kids to school there, doing some work as he almost consults with other people on how to be a sovereign individual, I believe.
Yeah.
Because he explained how he is multinational. I think he either has multiple passports or some kind of status where he can still flow freely through Germany, but live in Mexico. He talked about having some of his wealth in Florida. Like, he's fully taking advantage of the fact that we live in a digital world where you can produce value digitally anywhere. And you can have your money sorted out across different places. You can get smart about where you put your money and your assets in terms of a tax. I mean, that dude was relaxed. So how did you feel about Ingo's episode?
I mean, it was cool to see someone who Bitcoin has empowered to, take control of their own personal freedom and sovereignty back. And I just thought that was impressive and inspiring to see that he was able to move his family, go to Mexico and live the lifestyle that he wants to live.
There it is.
Right? Because he's using the right money.
I want what Ingo has. He has enough Bitcoin to be free. And I want enough Bitcoin to be free. Honestly, and I like that he's traveled the world. I love Germany. I've never been to Mexico, but I speak Spanish. I'm all about it. I love foreign languages, other cultures. If I'm being rigorously honest, I don't think I would live somewhere other than Raleigh, though. I love Raleigh.
Yeah.
Raleigh is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love Oak City. I love our trees.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind, for example, if you and I moved the show down to like the Florida Keys for the summer.
Yeah.
And we have Jer Bear schlep all our cameras.
Yep.
And set it all up down there.
Yeah.
And then like we're shooting from like just like we're
paradise.
Just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have a little compound down there.
And like we could, because we're not attached, you know?
Well, what about like kids and education and like would we have to homeschool?
Well, it's the summer. School's out.
Oh, in the summer. You would want to go to Florida in the summer?
Well, yeah, I mean it's hot and the girls, you know, don't want to wear a lot of clothing as a result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, like, whoa, thirst alert. Whoa, relax.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm talking about my wife specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
I only have eyeballs for my wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am in love with this lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, but you just hop in the ocean if it's hot. You hop in the ocean, it's all good.
Yeah.
You wake up, you hop in the ocean, you retreat in the afternoon. When it's at its sunniest, you hit your shows.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a 10 and a noon, like we rip a 1 and a 3.
Yeah.
Then it's not as hot. You go back out, a little bit of dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be lit up.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Or you could also snowbird up to like Toronto. You could take it to Toronto where it's not as hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what Ingo has is he gets to decide. He gets to decide.
Yeah.
So I love that for him.
Who's 43?
Okay, wait. I just flashed it there, so don't cheat now. It's number 43, Robin.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What do you remember about Robin's show?
Okay, so Professor Robin.
Yeah.
First of all, he took the cash.
He took the cue.
Okay, and he took the cash because it wasn't worth his time and effort to set up a whole Bitcoin structure for himself personally for $50. And so he was like,
and who was it in the comments that went off? Let me see here. I think it was OG Furious. I'm going to test my memory here. It was OG Bitcoiner. Yeah. OG Bitcoiner went off in the comments because he couldn't believe that an economist would say the transaction cost of Bitcoin was too high. But he was focusing on the literal on-chain transaction cost.
Was he?
My guy OG Bitcoiner.
Oh yeah. He was like,
you got to push back against that.
Yeah, well, Robin meant cost in terms of his time, his effort, his energy.
Yes. Yeah. And not only did I go into OG Bitcoiner's comment and say, look, man, in the raw tape, we do push back against that. We're like, the transaction cost is not high.
Yeah.
Because you and I were both thinking that Robin was talking about the on-chain fees for moving Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And number 44, Evan, has said he wants this. If you guys want this, put it in the comments. But we would, we're toying around with a YouTube membership tier where you get like early access to the episode. And it's the raw tape.
Unedited.
It's the full thing. It's not cut down to size.
Mm-hmm.
But in that raw tape, we're like, yo, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it was only later. It could have been a day later. I might have been in the shower. I was like, oh my gosh, Robin was talking about his time and energy as the transaction cost.
Yeah.
What a beautiful economist thing there, by the way.
Well, yeah, he thinks about things like opportunity cost, the value of his time, and I think the same way, like you need to really be placing a high value on whatever it is that's going to take you away from the status quo. I mean, that like as salespeople, you're always fighting what people are doing.
There has to be a reason for you to go through that change.
Yeah.
And typically it's pain. And I hate that. I hate selling on pain.
Yeah.
I would rather sell on hope and on optimization.
Yeah.
I'd rather say, look, the reason why you need to lose weight is not because you're afraid of a heart attack, but because you want to be the strongest possible version of yourself. I want to motivate people to do things for positive reasons.
Yeah.
But humans only do stuff for negative reasons.
Yeah.
And as a sales rep, you get burned out. At least some sales reps, they live in that world. They're like, oh yeah, you should be afraid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're in pain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do about that? It's like I don't want that negativity in my life in order to make commission.
Totally.
But I'm telling you, I went 12, 13, 14 years. I have no idea how I succeeded because I would only drive at the right reasons to do something. Now, here's the shame, okay? The transaction cost for Robin is not high. And here's why, okay? Number 28 car, aka my mom. All right, I went over to her house. I had about, and I don't know why I was over there, but I had about 5 minutes left before I needed to go get Lion or something. And she had gotten her email from number 40 Anna Bevan saying it's time to get your sats. And I said, hey, I got time to help you with that. And I'm actually not even going to help you. I'm just going to sit here with you.
Yep.
So here goes my mom. She's 70, bro. She's in her early 70s.
Not an economist.
Not an economist, okay? And she opened up the email. It said step 1, download Blue Wallet. She downloaded Blue Wallet. It said step 2, open it up. She opened it up. Step 3, hit the button that says create wallet. She did it. Step 4, write down the seed phrase. She wrote it down on paper. Step 5, open up that wallet you've made. Tap receive. Tap the long string of numbers and letters. And then email that back to number 40. It took her less than 5 minutes to do that on her own with me watching. I didn't help one time. So Robin could have had himself his sats in 5 minutes or less. Now, what else did Robin say, though, that was insane? Because his thumbnail was Holy Laptop Relic. And his episode title was Can Humans Last Long Enough for Bitcoin? Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I do. I mean, he was a futurist, and he had some predictions on the future.
Yep.
But you know what? I'm still so confused about the taking the cash thing.
Okay.
Just go back. If you want to, I don't even want to think about anything else. Like, this guy didn't take the Bitcoin. I want to see him in 9 months.
Yeah.
And I want to try again.
Dude. Okay. So I get that you're feeling that way because on this show, the way we've set it up and the way that we personally feel, it's a loss for the show when someone takes cash.
Yeah.
Not because we want to win or that we're driven by ego, but because it's like someone who's swimming in a never-ending ocean and who is tired. We offer them a boat or dry land. And they say no, and they go continue to swim painfully around in this it's like, we're trying to help you make the most important choice of your life, which is your choice of money. Your choice of money has a parallel universe creating amount of power, right? Like when you get to this pinch point as a young man, and you say, well, what money is my money? If you choose fiat, your life goes this way. If you choose gold, your life goes this way. If you choose crypto, your life goes this way. If you choose Bitcoin, your life actually goes like this. You know what I mean? It changes your life.
Yeah.
It powers everything.
Yep.
It filters everything. It purifies everything. It resets how you value. It's incredible.
It gives you time back that you used to spend worrying about money, thinking about money.
But what it does for me is it allows me, it restores the dignity.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a naughty little work goblin.
Yeah.
Who's just get the honey and I go and I grab it, right? Shout out NADPOD. And then I go store it in the comb and it's just dripping out the bottom into the goober in the monk's mouth. You know what I mean? Why can't I go anywhere? Why can't I get anywhere? But for the Satillionaires who are interested, Robin thinks we need to have more kids because a declining human population will lead to a decline in technological advancement, which leads to us no longer understanding how to even make computers, where the Bitcoin is on the computer and we pass it down, this holy laptop. Like, okay, my son, this is the, we don't even know how to pronounce it anymore. We're like, this is the Google Pixel Nina. Like we can't even say Google Pixel 9 anymore.
Yeah.
Here is the Holy Google Pixel. You know what I mean? Like, this has the Bitcoin on it, my son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know how to update it. We don't know how it works. We just know it has our money on it. That dude was nuts. And I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on his book that he wrote. M is for something. It was nuts. It was nuts. I didn't read it because the reviews said it was a little bit too tedious and kind of toothsome. Yeah. But like he has this vision of us recreating human brains in these non-corporeal agentic AI things. And these artificial brains just get to where they do all the work. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So that was number 41, blockchain. Wayne, nice and easy, okay? $50 a week, folks. Number 42, Ingo, who almost shows you the end result of what blockchain Wayne is advocating for, which is the freedom to go and do whatever you want whenever you want, which may be to stay in the same place and keep working the job you love.
Yeah.
And then number 43, Robin, the economist, who, by the way, he rubbed elbows with the cypherpunks.
That's right.
In Silicon Valley when it was not Silicon Valley. He rubbed elbows with Hal Finney, and he thought Hal was Satoshi Nakamoto. And some other dude, Tim Mays, who was like even more of an OG founder of something that had to deal with the cypherpunk. I think Tim Mays wrote the cypherpunk manifesto. And he's an economist and can see all this business. But he was more of like, well, look, man, unless I know more about it than the average person, then I just have to bet on I have to bet that I'm not as smart as these guys. And he just is cruising with cash.
Yeah, he's got some pretty strict rules that he lives by. Yeah. And that's it.
But look, think about how you're going to feel when Paul comes back on the show. Dima comes back on the show, not Victor, because we know we know why he took the cash. Robin and Pallavi. Think about when they come back on the show in 9 months and say, you know what? I'm ready to stack the sats. How are you going to feel when someone who stacked the cash decides on their 9 month to stack the sats? What do you mean? How are you not going to feel amazing?
I'm going to feel
it's literally it means our show's working.
What took you so long?
Bro.
Yeah.
Dude, the lack of gratitude over here. Is it real? Can you feel it? Put it in the comments if you can feel it, man. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be we're going to be like, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to feel amazing.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, that's right, idiot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. All right, so let's flip over to inaccuracies and mistakes across those 3 episodes. Let's look at what Blockchain Wayne said. Banks in the United States still have a 10% reserve requirement. We were talking about fractional reserve banking. When someone, I know.
This gets bad.
It gets even, I love when Chappie updates us to correct us about it. It's even worse than what we were saying.
So
fractional reserve banking for you satillionaires, when I deposit $99 in the bank can lend out to someone else all but $9.90 of that cash.
Yeah.
And they basically make money that's not there. So Blockchain Wayne was saying, look, fractional reserve banking gets you upside down in the fiat clown system very quickly, but Bitcoin is Bitcoin and either you have it or you do not. So he said banks in the US still have a 10% reserve requirement. It was dropped to 0% only temporarily during COVID. Nobody really knows what it is now. So the implication, Blockchain Wayne implied that the 0% requirement was changed to 2, 3, 4%, you know? Here goes Chaps. You want to read this right here?
Yeah, basically it was dropped to 0 and it hasn't been raised since. And that's publicly documented.
Oh, no. So March 26th, 2020, which is basically right after we were locked down. I think Friday the 13th, March 13th is when they said, don't bring your kids to school. And that was like our first real So less than 2 weeks later, the Federal Reserve drops this requirement from 10% fractional reserve to 0%. You can lend out all of it, which means what happens if I come for my money? Oh, we lent out all of it. It has not been raised since. Holy smokes. The pandemic is over. You would think they would readjust that. They've just left it where it is. And then you get into number 59, Brandon, rabbit hole conspiracy mode, where you wonder if there were all, you don't even have to wonder, dude. Your friendly local nation state will use whatever story it can find that you will believe to do what it needs to do to continue operating its ridiculous fiat monetary system. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Okay. Now, I'm no pandemic denier over here, just to be clear, but they'll tell you that things are getting more expensive. They'll tell you that supply chains are no good. They'll tell you that the war on terror, they'll tell you whatever just to keep it rolling. Because why wouldn't they put that back up? All right. Okay. So number 42, Ingo, we were talking about that central bank digital currency because we were kind of fired up about that a month or two ago. When the European Union was talking about a CBDC. So Ingo said the European Central Bank will launch the digital euro, which is a CBDC, central bank digital currency, this coming October. Taxes will be deducted automatically, and it will be tied to an individual social credit score that can block purchases. Now, this model of Chappie is not 4.0. This is 03, which is a newer model that thinks for longer. And one thing I've noticed about 03 is it paraphrases way more than 4.0 does.
Really?
So it was really a combo of me and Ingo going back and forth about a CBDC, about the fact that they could say, hey, we see you drink too much at the pub. Yeah. We're cutting you off. Yeah. Because your money won't work at this bar after we've seen that you've bought 2 beers.
Right.
So Chappie wants to correct us. The European Central Bank is only in the preparation phase of a possible digital euro. No launch date has been fixed. No automatic tax or social credit features have been proposed in official documents. So that's us reacting to them saying we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But the reason why I want to react to that is because that's what could happen.
Yeah. Fair.
That's what could happen.
What we said is that it is happening, and here's the date. What's actually true is it could happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I know I said in this episode I don't want to sell on fear, but that's a real thing that I'm afraid of. I don't want that. I want control over my money. Ingo also said that the EU countries were decentralizing and breaking up because they're realizing that globalization isn't working. So, and what he means by that is like the Czech Republic is like, no, we like Bitcoin. And we're going to pass Bitcoin-friendly rules, you know? And maybe as a German who has his finger on the pulse, he might feel like he sees certain countries that are like, we're not. But Chappie says that no EU member state has announced plans to leave the union over globalization concerns. And overall intra-EU economic integration indices continue to rise, not fall. So what Chappie is saying is that Ingo might feel that way, but nobody said it out loud, and it would seem as though these countries are getting closer together.
Yeah, right? These are great clarifications and really important for us to walk through them.
All right. So Blockchain Wayne says reserve creation through a $1,000 deposit and 10% reserves instantly creates multiple thousands of dollars that are just numbers that don't really exist. So what do we mean by that? When we put in $1,000 and they keep $100 and loan $900 to the next guy, well, the next guy, they're really taking the $900 and giving it to the bank for the next guy. So the next bank takes the $900 and they loan it out to that guy. Well, actually, the first bank loans it out to that guy, but that guy's bank that has the $900 on record, they take $810 and they loan it to a second guy, and they only keep 90 of that 900. And so the second guy has 810, but then the third bank takes 90% of 810 and only keeps $81 for themselves. So this fractional reserve banking, it creates all these just units of money. So you're basically just it's like money printing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Chappie wants us to say here. Fractional reserve lending does expand broad money. I don't even know what this term is, broad money, but I guess it means this phenomenon of kind of continuing to fractionally reserve money that isn't there. Maybe that's considered broad money. Maybe that's separate from M2. I got to tell you, man, all of the terms that we have for fiat, M1, M2, M3, broad money, fractional reserve. I mean, you satillionaires, does this seem unmanageable to you all yet? Does this seem like the fiat monetary system is coming up with all these terms to rationalize and sanitize what is effectively them giving you money that doesn't exist?
Mm-hmm.
With hard money, either it's there or it is not.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's so simple. It's unbelievable.
What is broad money? I'm going to look that up real quick.
Okay,
while you keep
let's
rolling.
do that. So what Chappie says is fractional reserve lending does expand broad money, but commercial bank loans create spendable deposits that must be repaid and are recorded on balance sheets. They are not, quote, numbers that don't really exist. The description is an oversimplification. So I think Chappie must feel like we're saying those loans don't need to be repaid because it's fake money. We know for a fact the bank is like, yes, you owe us this money, but they're lending you money that's not real. You have to go to work to pay it back with real money that is real.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing's a mess. What does she say is broad money?
So broad money is an economic term that refers to the total supply of money in an economy that includes not just physical cash and coins, but also more liquid assets that can easily be converted into cash. So yeah, I mean, sounds like M2 monetary supply.
Dude, give me a break.
Yeah.
This stuff's a mess.
So it would include currency in circulation, demand deposits, which are basically money in checking accounts, digital dollars, savings accounts, money market securities, short-term government bonds, and other liquid assets. Essentially, it's a measure of the total money available in the economy that people and businesses could spend quickly if needed.
What a mess. Seriously.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me going to your fridge and saying, hey, man, do you have a tub of hummus? And your answer isn't, yes, I have a tub of hummus, or no, I don't have a tub of hummus. You're like, okay, well, so let's get into this. What I have is some broad hummus, okay? Now, I put one tub of hummus in my fridge. I scooped 90% of that tub of hummus out, okay? And I put it into another tub of hummus, and I gave that to my neighbor to put into his fridge. Now, 100% of that hummus is still mine. But I lent him 90% of that hummus. He's got to give me my 90% back.
Mm-hmm.
But I go to that neighbor and I'm like, okay, well, do you have the 90% of that? Oh, well, actually, I scooped out 90% of that hummus. It's in the neighbor's house. Where is this stuff?
Yeah.
How can you possibly tell me you still have a tub of hummus?
Well,
you don't.
So correction, broad money is M3.
Oh boy.
And beyond.
We know about M3.
Which is M2 plus larger long-term deposits, institutional money market funds, and sometimes bonds and other near money instruments.
What a mess.
Broad money is often measured as M2 or M3, depending on the country. I mean,
literally, somebody give me a break. Because Chappie already told us about how M3 is so hard to pin down that the gouvernement determined it's too expensive to calculate how much money is in the M3 tier.
Yeah.
What? You'd have to print money to determine how much money you've printed.
Yeah.
That's a mess. So that was number 41, Blockchain Wayne.
Yeah.
Number 42, Ingo. Number 43, Robin. Great episodes. I think especially Blockchain Wayne is great if you're brand new to Bitcoin. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sat Chats Rehash. Smash the subscribe button for your chance at the Million Sats giveaway. Also to unlock our live show Friday mornings, 10 a.m. and to give us your support as we train on the road to number 99. Kristen,
I love it.
You can support our show directly by zapping sats to satchats@getalby.com. You can sign up to come on the show, and you can hit us with your on-chain Bitcoin. The address is there in the show notes. Sat Chats Rehash is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, Chappie's views are her own. We'll see you tomorrow.